Hi, everyone. Welcome to Psychology and Spirituality, a Bridge to a Better Life discussion. Please note that this program offers weekly episodes where we come together to explore the intersection of spirituality and psychology, and as a result, the ability to capture timeless wisdom that we find in both fields. I want to thank all of you who are joining us today, and we're here to this is my proposal, Anne, to dive into topics that touches pretty much everybody's, right? Which are either thoughts about reincarnation, about karma, or in other philosophies, we just call the law of action and reaction, cause and effect. And in all of this, what is the silent story that our bodies are telling? And I keep thinking here, have we ever wondered why certain patterns repeat in our lives, right? Why, I don't know, why do I have to have the same type of a boyfriend or friend, of work environment even? Why do I keep getting sick this or that way? What are those patterns? And why does our body, they seem to speak in way that our language, our words cannot truly express what they're doing? Or even further, why do past experience somehow seem to echo through our physical being? So today, let's explore. I'm getting warmed up. And in this episode, let's explore how those invisible threads can shape our present day reality and leave their imprint on our bodies. So, for everyone, I have not introduced myself. Apologies. My name is Marcia Trajano, and I'm with my dear friend Anne Sinclair, and we are here today trying to maybe unravel even the spiritual and psychological connections that make us who we are, right? And past, present, future. And how can we understand those connections and how they indeed, with clarity, they may lead to healing and to growth? So, Anne, bring it to you now. I was thinking, have you ever considered the idea that ailments or sickness or the challenges, or even on an opposite manner, the strength that we have and we find in our body could be more than just a physical phenomena? What are your thoughts? What do you think we can talk about? How we're given this body and we don't know either way if it's good, it's bad, or ugly. Is this physical? Is it spiritual? What is it?
So I first let me say hello, everybody. Thank you, Marcia, for inviting me. This topic is a topic that I really enjoy. We are not going to find a final solution for it, but we're just going to have the opportunity of have some thoughts, some reflections today. And I would say that first and foremost, let us think about ourselves. Quite often, when people think about, the law of action and reaction and presentation in the form of ailments or difficulties with the body, people are very quick to judge others. So let us leave the others with their issues and let us look at our own issues. Because the sage of antiquity had already said that the most important task we have on earth is to know ourselves. And sometimes people, when they say to know ourselves, they take a very intellectual, philosophical approach to it. But maybe I'd like to add a biological element to it. What about our bodies and knowing our bodies as well? And some people, they will they will say, oh, I know my body really well. I'm very sensitive to my body. I know when I'm ill. I don't need to have a test. I already know. People have know that they're going to become ill, what's coming. They know about their reproductive cycle. They know when they're all kinds. And other people, they're just oblivious of their body. So if I take it to the starting point of our knowing ourselves, if we think of ourselves as eternal spirits who have been created simple and ignorant, and we are on a journey of evolution that is never ending and which involves repeated episodes of experiences on school Earth at the moment. This is our school where we're
I
coming
love
into.
it. I love it. Yes.
This is an episode of learning that we are having. And in order to participate in this episode of learning, we have our equipment, which is our body, which is what we need to bring to our school in order to be able to interact in this world, in this school. But our body, our equipment, is not random. It's not by chance. It's not the luck of the draw. You know, I was number 23 in the queue, so I got this body. It's not like that. If we think that there is order to the universe and that divine laws are wise and just and loving, despite the fact that we can't truly understand everything in its greatest expression, we can learn little bits about each thing. So, therefore, the body we have for this life must be subject to these laws, which are wise and loving, even if we don't totally understand them. So that's where I'm coming from, the
I
philosophical
love it. No, no,
side,
I love it. I love where you're going.
the
And
biological side.
yeah, and I even think that what you said, not the lucky number X, and boom, voila. And I have to say, and I jokingly, but not so, I, and you know me, I am the shortest adult in of a family of very short people. So I kept saying, "Oh, next life, I'm gonna be tall and slender and beautiful. I'm gonna be a model." Those are the flights of fancy, right? That's exactly the opposite of who I am. But what you said is so true to me, Marcia, but everybody else. Our body, this body, is not a random. Oh, it was an accident where chromosomes here and DNA there, and we got it all together in this soup, and you are who you are now. No, not at all. It's a beautiful result of this highly synchronized, orchestrated plan to provide us with, and I love what you said as well, the equipment, so that we have the right books in the metaphor of school earth. We have the right equipment, we have the right circumstance to leverage the most of the current moment. So thank you for that. And I get back to you the bike, but I just had to drop. And
Uh, I think I don't know how it is for other people, but it does help me to think of it like that.
mhm,
And then just like putting it out there as well, as you know, my background. I mean, I'm retired now, but my formation, I'm a midwife. And I saw many spirits arriving in their brand new bodies,
uh-huh. Beautiful. Yeah.
which also, always helped me to reflect and how people are happy with their baby or not happy with their baby because it looks this
Hmm.
way or looks that way or whatever. But we think the formation of our human body is quite miraculous. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I'm a grandmother now, and going through the pregnancies of my daughters and things, it just, I always say to you can't take it for granted. It's the miracle of life, that
Yeah.
two little one cells come together, they go boom, release light, and form one cell that then starts multiplying, 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 multiplying. And then at the end of 9 months, here you got this gorgeous little baby that looks like mummy or looks like daddy or something like that. How does
Yeah.
this even happen? It is a bit of a miracle. But that formation, that selection of genes, it's interesting because we all learned about genetics at school and stuff in
Mhm.
biology, in secondary school biology. And there is an element of how those building blocks come together, or what mom brings, what dad brings into the element. But you have like choices. So why is one gene selected and not the other? Why, does one sibling have blue eyes and the other sibling doesn't? So it's say, oh yeah, you have a chance of 25% or 1 in 4. But what makes you be that 1 in 4 or the
Yeah,
3 in 4?
yeah,
Is that random? I tell you, nothing in this universe is random. Everything has laws behind it. So the body that's been generated, it has the biological laws that are actioning according to that, but it has also what is this spirit bringing in from their own energy, if you like. So when we say like the past, it's like almost we want to say we have a cloud of energy, which is our spiritual body that is with
hmm
us, that is us. This is us. We carry everything with us. I'd say a joke here. I don't know if I ever said it, but it always makes me laugh. Many years ago, Divaldo Franco was here, like giving talks, and he's
And
very popular.
here is England, right?
Yeah, here's England. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
giving talks, and it's very popular. There's a lot of Brazilians who are immigrant here, and they all come to his talks. And then people come to talk to him afterwards. They say, "Oh, I don't know. Should I stay in the UK or should I go back to Brazil? Should I come? Should I go? What shall I do?" Blah blah blah. And he
Uh-huh.
said, "Oh, you could do whatever you like, but don't forget, in your luggage, in your suitcase, you will take your
Yourself.
troubles, your karmas, your issues, because you don't leave them in one country when you go to the other one. They go in your luggage.
Yeah,
So when we come into a new life, we bring our stuff with us,
yeah,
our stuff from before. Doesn't make us bad or good. It's just who we are. We
yeah,
have unresolved issues, things that haven't worked out well that we have to revisit, all kinds of things like that. And this comes with our energy. So, like say, it's expressed through our spiritual body, if you like. And when the spirit Andre Luis, he describes beautifully in the book Missionaries of Love, of the Light, how in the
mhm,
process of reincarnation, when those two cells from the mom and the dad come together, and there is an explosion of energy, a photon is released. They take photographs of it nowadays. It's fabulous. The spirit is connected at that very moment,
ah,
that moment of conception.
yeah,
And from there on, that spirit that's coming in, that's you, me, whoever, is affecting the development of the body. So the body is following the natural laws, but also the spirit that's coming in is impressing through its own energy
yeah,
what is necessary. And
yeah,
at the same time, this baby is in the mum's womb, which is an environment subject to the mum's thoughts, feelings, emotions, environmental factors. Does she live in a healthy place? Does she live in a polluted place? Is she in a place at war? Is she in a place at peace? Is it a place where there's domestic abuse? Is
yeah,
there a loving partnership? Is there a loving family around? What are the impressions that this mom is getting from the environment, which are affecting the baby? They
yeah.
have fabulous images nowadays of a fetus showing how the fetus reacts to people shouting in the room, and it coils up, and how it feels
Oh, yeah,
joyous with this joyous music and nice things going on.
yeah,
The
yeah,
baby nervous system, everything is being affected by this environment, which is the physical environment, the mother's environment, her womb. And then they say nowadays they use the word epigenetics, which
yeah,
means that some genes are affected or switched on or switched off because of the environment. But this is not chance, because
yeah,
our mom, our dad, they're not by chance. These are exactly the people that we needed to be our parents. And that's why we come in to be their child, because they also need us as their child. The
yeah.
family relationships, everything is intertwined.
And we can think, right, when we talk about the environment of the baby that has been inside the mother's womb, and it's not only receiving the loving or indifferent, right? It can
Mhm.
happen, energies from the mother, uh, also the what the from a biological and very material, what is the nourishments, what are
Mhm.
the in my, I have to take this, I have to take this. When I was pregnant for my two children, I was quite young, but at the time I was vegan, right? Macrobiotic. I mean, really, what I put in my body, it was very pure, very uh, nutritious, etc. Not a drop of, and I'm addicted to coffee, but not a drop of coffee, and no sugar, no sugar, no nothing bad. And it's very interesting because those two babies, as they grew, you would put chocolate in front of them, and it never sparked what many kids will have this crazy that I want candy. I would not eat my soup or my dinner if you don't give me this the more delicious one. And everybody else, friends at the time, this is quite a while ago, they would tell me, how did you do it? And I didn't. It was during the conception, right? During the, not the conception, but the pregnancy, the choice, which was quite easy for me to keep taking care of the nutrients that those babies would receive. And this is just one of many environmental and internal factors that can impact the baby, how the baby is born, right?
Yeah, and so here I also like want to uh,
Uh-huh.
take the opportunity just to say something
Yeah,
is that if anybody's listening in and they
yeah,
feel, oh, I did a, I didn't do a good job, I ate all the wrong things, I didn't look after my pregnancy, don't feel guilty. Don't
yeah.
feel
Please,
guilty.
please don't. Yeah,
Don't, because everything is just right. That spirit came through that condition, that situation, because that was exactly what was on offer and that was known. So if you need to be born in a place of peace, you're
yeah,
not born in the middle of a war. You're born somewhere else. If you need to be in a place where there is war, you're going to be born there.
yeah,
So, and it's not by chance because these things affect our bodies that are forming. So a baby that is formed, for example, is born in a place of war,
hmm,
has a very high reactive level because survival is dangerous. It's a dangerous place. They'll
yeah,
cry less. They'll be more alert, and they will be different in their setup. Although they look the same, they will be set up. Their triggers will be different to a baby born in a different place. So you don't have to say, "Oh, I wish, I wish, I wish." No, just say, this is the path that was given to me because I needed it.
yeah,
And so sometimes we look back and we can maybe we say, oh, my mum wasn't such a good mom, or my dad wasn't such a good dad. And, we go down that pathway, which is absolutely in the pathway of self-knowledge. You need to
yes.
know what things have affected you,
And
not just,
Joanna D'Angelis, oh, sorry to interrupt, but Joanna D'Angelis speaks to that in one of her books, right?
yeah,
Where even to the topic of health and sickness, where specifically you may be born in a place of violence, domestic or even inner conflicts, existential conflicts, whatever, or in a war, or the mother was ready, prepared, the mother was not, the mother was too present or too absent. There's so many.
yeah,
It's like this color wheel, right? There's so many nuances of colors that bring you who you are today based on those environment, but it's not by chance, and this is absolutely correct. I We are impacted by, but because we are immortal spirit, right?
yeah,
And as an immortal spirit, I may be born out of this, but I may be much more prepared and even an older, if you will, using our words here, right? Older spirit that is there to actually help the mom or the dad deal with something else And so it's just reversal of roles, if you will, but it's not by chance. It plays. There's an impact, there's an influence, but it does not mean that this is formulaic. The movie that I thought so many years ago I watched, and I will forget the name, something Galactica or something science fiction, dealing with the idea that once upon a time in the future, right, um, the babies will be carefully chosen, and there will be removal of any child that upon this development inside a mother's womb, of any baby that will come back defective, if you will. And there's more than that. There's several other movies that use that same idea, right? That we only need the perfect structure, the perfect height, the perfect health, the organs are perfect. And in that movie, oh my goodness, I need to watch it again. And the father actually was not an engineered child, right? He should have been already killed. And it's very interesting, the whole idea that it's, you don't need to engineer life in all its amazing, miraculous, if you use the word that you used before, all of those aspects of life is beautifully orchestrated, right?
Mm.
What you come, what you have in the body, it is something that is specially made for the experience in this earth school, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, it's interesting that you were saying about this obsession with the perfect body.
Yeah, yeah.
And we could perhaps think of it as a very materialistic approach because
Hmm.
it's just looking at the equipment,
Yeah,
but not at the soul. What's important is the soul, the spirit that's coming in, not the equipment that they have, not the uniform that they're wearing, but who is
yeah,
the student that goes there. But we are strongly conditioned by a very materialistic society. So, as part of our self knowledge, also, we need to acknowledge that we can quite often have materialistic views of things and then take that step back and say, okay, but just take it to the beginning. We are eternal spirits and we are here in
yeah.
our school. So, that and it's interesting because that brings about the idea that there are many imperfections present in bodies, some
Mhm.
from birth, some that present later. And sometimes those imperfections, we can call them as deficiencies, or they can present in the form of disease or illnesses. And it's interesting because even nowadays in the London Underground,
Yeah.
you know, the seats near the door, the four seats near the door, is like a little sign, you know, like an elderly person, a pregnant person. And it says, please offer this seat to someone who might need it to you. Not all disabilities are visible.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good that we've advanced there. A
Yeah.
lot of people, they have disabilities that are not visible to us on the outside. So we're making judgments that somebody is maybe because something very visible, let's say they're blind or they've lost a leg or whatever. And
Mhm.
you can see that and making judgments and things, while people
Yeah.
have sometimes very severe disabilities that are not uh,
Yeah. And,
immediately noticeable.
yeah. And I think in that invisibility, the cloak of invisibility that some of our conditions have, and I'm talking especially mental health, right? Where
Mm,
it's so much easier to see a broken arm, and I'm being facetious here, but a broken arm or whatever, and yet when I'm suffering severe depression or pathological levels of anxiety, and it's all inside, and you, unless you're very perceptive or in tune, it's invisible. But I'm wondering here, and what if in the, what if each scar, each illness, and even each moment that we are doing well uh, could be seen as this a mirror or an echo or a reflection of something much deeper, which is this legacy that is carried through today's body, this genetic expression, right? From my parents and my, as a descendant of many other parents, but also through this journey that you alluded before, this spiritual journey across many lifetimes. And what if, I don't know, many people say a scar, it's like a medal from a battlefield, right? It's like, oh, you got a scar. Think about it. You went through this, or in the aging process, that deep frown, that wrinkle that some have. And I say that because my mother, she had the most beautiful skin. She died when she was 90, and just nothing, just beautiful face, except for this deep crease right here that happened when her father passed and she was only 18, right? So those scars are there, and they reflect the pain that her spirit went through, her deep sorrow, etc., etc. But could we see it? No, sometimes those are invisible, even to some of us who are much more in tune, either following Socrates, his dictum, right, of know thyself, or because I really take care of this body, I'm in tune, I'm very sensitive. But even for all of us that are maybe better or more in tune to who we are, physically or inwardly, but what if we cannot find it? What if it's so deeply buried that we don't know? We don't make the connections. We don't see it, right? And what does it mean to us? I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, I think that I take it like I'm quite pragmatic in my approach, as you know.
Uh,
So, yeah, we start off our life, we've got our body, it comes with, let's say, from factory setups, defaults,
Default setup, yes.
default setups from factory.
Yeah.
We can change some things, we cannot change other things.
Mm,
Modern science can help with some things, modern science cannot help with other things. And then we are responsible with what we do with our equipment. What do we do with our body
yeah.
as we transit through life? When we are young, sometimes we treat our body as if it were indestructible.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
party all night, we take all kinds of stuff, and poison our body. And oh, just be ill for a day. Next weekend we are back for more. Part
Yeah.
of youth, whatever. We will have consequences sooner. The next day, or sometimes can have cumulative effects over our lifetime, depending on how we use our body.
Mhm.
It's like a car. If you maintain it and you
Yes.
look after it, it will last you longer. But some things are inevitable. And one of the interesting things that I always reflect on this as well, because modern science allows us to look inside the body. You do an MRI scan or something, you can look in. And what they have nowadays, they call incidental diagnosis. So you go in to have a scan of your kidney because of something the other. And while
Mhm.
they're looking there, oh, look, they found this on the liver. Oh, they found this on the bowel. They
Yeah.
weren't looking for that. It's
Yeah.
incidental. It
Yeah.
pops up because you're looking with this viewing technique, which is the MRI. And so they discover loads of stuff that sometimes they don't know what to do with. So they were saying, like, sometimes you might have what looks like a growth or a tumor, it might be benign or not, but it's sitting there. And they were saying, you have no symptoms. What's it doing there? And say, okay,
Mhm.
well, let's review in 6 months. And then maybe 6 months go back and it might not be there anymore. It's disappeared. or it might be growing and developing. So no, actually, this is not looking very good. Let's have a further investigation.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying, in the past, we couldn't do this. We couldn't
that's
look
right.
couldn't look inside the body. But when we do look inside, some of the things we find, we don't know what to make of them. So the doctors will both say that, the body creates cysts and growths that come, that go, that are affected by hormones, by food, by toxins, by thoughts, by all kinds of things. It's not clear. There's no, like, don't have a clear, evidence that this is what it is, just some ideas. So we might all have stuff going on that we are not aware of, which
Hmm.
might not be expressing itself through symptoms in our life. And, I always say it's like, for example, my mom, she had heart disease for pretty much the last 10 years of her life. And it
Yeah.
was all like very stressful, this heart disease and taking the tablets and doing the tests and doing this. But in the end, what killed her was not her heart disease, it was cancer.
Mm.
What I mean to say is, like, yeah, you might have disease, you might have a chronic disease that's developed in you and that you need to treat and look
Yeah.
after. But that might not be, like, you're thinking, oh, this is going to kill me, and then something else comes up and does the job, because you don't she didn't even know that she had this cancer growing in her, because all her focus was on her heart disease.
Yeah.
And I'm just using her example is because we can't be looking at everything all the time. We need to live. We need
We
to
need to live. Exactly. Yeah.
So, what is it with this, the way that we look at disease and health, and, this duality? If you're healthy, you're not sick, and if you're sick, you're not healthy. You know, Actually, going forwards, Joanna Journalist, she
Mm.
suggests that actually we should look at it as integral health,
That's right.
in which we might have an illness that we are treating, but we are living well and we are emotionally well balanced with it. And we carry on loving our family, doing our stuff. We might have
Hmm.
limitations come up
Yeah.
because of our body not functioning completely, but we don't give up on life. And we don't go into that position that now I'm a patient, I am a sick person, and that is who I have become. The illness is just part of our integral health. So it's like a shift from this, day, night, black, white, illness and health. I'm thinking, no, actually, health is much more than illness. It can
Yes.
carry with it. So we might have diseases, conditions, problems that come, that go, that we can treat, or that impede us in some way or stop us from doing some things that we would like, but not others. But we need to live, and we need to live well and have joy despite our difficulties. I know that, like, sometimes people will say, oh, well, I can talk in like this because I'm not the one suffering from the disease. And
Hmm.
don't mean to minimize anybody's suffering, anybody's difficulties. Nobody can judge or comment on other people's. I'm just talking about myself, thinking,
Hmm.
okay, so in my lot, in my lesson, this
Hmm.
is where I can focus. But just thinking that, to even if I am sick, that I will take the treatments that are available. I will take the painkillers that are available. I will take the surgery if it's necessary. I'll do all these things, but I won't feel that sense of suffering and despair, of thinking that I'm suffering unjustly, or that I'm suffering as a punishment, or because I have debts from the past and now this is what I need to suffer.
Hmm.
We don't know, because this could be a lesson that we've asked for and it's
Yeah.
been incorporated
It's a,
into our body.
it's a very, very good point
This is a
because,
challenge that we wanted to face, to
yeah,
grow, and to see if we are there, because to talk the talk and walk the walk are different things, as we all
yeah,
know.
yeah. And I'm thinking, as you said, right? We may have requested, we we actually were part of the plan, right? To decide to design this new life, and it's almost like maybe a tapestry where we chose the colors. We may not know the design, but we get the colors, so we're going to be I don't know, this is flights of fancy here for my brain. And but we decided that this life will be yellow and brown, very different than your life, and which may be blue and green and maybe lavender, very, very different tones. And we can have different designs, different experiences in our lives as the design, but the your analogy of the machine, the equipment that comes from the factory setting, and some we can customize, and some it's ingrained in the choice, meaning that the color of this tapestry I cannot change, but I can change how I go about building that life, the story that we live. And I really think that it's all about that the role that our spirit play in our health, right?
Mhm.
And you alluded to it already in terms of from a baby being born, and it's subject to thoughts of the mother and environmental impacts. But I think if we go beyond the birth in our lives as this equipment, this body, um, we should reflect upon how my emotional pattern from this life, but also from prior experiences, prior existence, may have left an imprint on the very structure of our being, right?
Mhm.
Meaning that that imprinted on my health challenges or blessings, despite the fact that I can take good care of my body or not. I knew somebody, and it's just so funny. He was quite an elderly man, and he joked because this man was healthy. I mean, just he was blessed with this body. No matter what, he was healthy. He drank every day. He smoked like a chimney since he was 15. And this is a man, so 60 plus years of smoking, inhaling all the toxins. He would eat fatty foods. And I'm like, how? And yet his body was good. He could deal with all of this. He died quite late in life without any issues whatsoever. In the meantime, right, I see of myself, if I take a whiff of something that is bad for me, I immediately fall ill. So we have different predispositions, but beyond the material um food, the nourishment, we should be maybe thinking about what are the aspects of our emotional well-being from today and from before. How do they really design or impact our health today, right?
Yeah, that's a really important point. And as you speaking, Marcia, is coming to my mind because not only from the past but today,
Yeah.
if we think of our body, we are constantly sitting under the influence of this constant irradiation of thoughts from ourselves and emotions, and our body is drenched in this all the time. So the quality of our thoughts and emotions is affecting our body at a cellular level, although we might not be aware of it. So it might be interesting because we have, like, say, self knowledge is absolutely crucial to understand ourselves. And even, let's say, what is my body telling me about, these ailments is coming up? Why am I having a problem with my skin? Or why am I having a problem with my heart? Or why am I having a problem with the digestion? Is it what I'm eating on the outside, or is it what I'm feeding from the
Yeah.
inside? Is it something, that I've been feeding for more than one life? So we have the opportunity to have that introspection and thoughts and to explore that. And again, I go like, without feeling guilty, but
Uh,
feeling curious the
Yes.
curiosity of thinking, aha, this is happening. Let me have a think about, where's the root of this? Where's this coming from?
Yeah.
Because we can make things better or worse depending if we are immersed in good or disturbing thoughts. So,
Yeah.
for example, you find lots of stuff like this, on the internet or on modern things, but using love, for example, and doing for a daily exercise, for example, that you look in the mirror and you say, I say, for example, I say, "Hi, Anne, I love you. Hi, Anne, you're great. Well done. Another day. Here we go." And I say to my body, "Well done, you. Come so far. I love you." Even if I'm hobbling because my hip's not okay or my heart's going funny, I still love you. It's like the love of a mother for her child. I love you regardless. I love you, Mr. Body. I love you,
Yeah.
Mrs. Body. I love myself, spirit. And just forcing, to bring out that love and that understanding of what it means, and not say, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Oh, this body's not working any worse. It's getting worse."
Yes. Yeah.
So what are we doing? So like just like kind of stop and say, what am I actually doing to myself? Am I
Yeah.
helping myself, or am I just making things worse? It's sometimes simple things like that. It's just to perhaps build up a routine and
Yeah.
to exercise that routine to help us to create good new habits, because our old habits, they're coming from a long time, and sometimes we need to change them to new ones. And sometimes society might not be saying the same things as us, because the society is still, as we said before, very materialistic. So how do we, as recognizing ourselves as these eternal spirits with all this history,
Yeah.
with all this acknowledgement of the wisdom and the love of God's laws in which we are immersed, how can we best go with the flow,
Yeah.
not fight it, but go with the flow?
I love it. I love what you said. And I would like to just invite all of us, maybe in a moment of reflection, if we can think that, right, this is the map. Not a map that you can hold in your hands, but a map that is here that this body reflects. And it, in the fabric of our being, which includes our genetic code, it includes our spirit, our body, our perispirit, right? Our life experience. And if we think of it, all of it in this very intricate map, and if you move into from paper into the idea of a digital, right, where you can zoom out or zoom in to go
Wow.
deeper and deeper. And if we think about it, right, we're like a city or a map, right? It needs to be constantly be updated. Uh, our body, our spirit is not just a passive observer of our lives. It actively and participates in shaping this existence, which includes the health of the body, right? So if you think about it, if the spirit is responsible for all that we decide, all the actions or all of our thoughts, all of our emotional response to things, our I don't know, unresolved emotional wounds, or uh, actions that have really rather difficult consequences from the past. How does it all come into this map? Right? What are the memories that we're carrying with us as this spirit shapes us? And I think when we think about it, it is quite complex, but it's beautiful, overarchingly beautiful, when we start to reflect upon it, right? And I think it goes back to what you said. let's think about this conversation as this invitation, really, to to take a moment to consider, right? I'm going for another metaphor here. And like we have this cosmic scoreboard, right? And our lives, and we can start to play with, uh, yes, score, good or bad, or, just what is going on and how that score will reflect on how we go about at the end of the tournament. Are we doing well? Are we losing? What are the things that are happening because of the day-to-day decisions, day-to-day thoughts, day-to-day emotions? All of this that can be intrinsic or extrinsically impacting how we live in this biological, um, social, spiritual body that is here right now.
Oh, beautifully said.
But I have to say, we can talk some more, a lot more. But as I look, we're coming to an end. Can you believe that? It's just how fast time goes. And
Mm.
wanted to ask, Anne, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up today's conversation?
Yeah, my final thought is to go back to love yourself, to love your body, to embrace everything with love. There is a
Yeah.
Joanna Jones show says when facing difficulties, whether they are physical, emotional, spiritual, she said, "Why not try love?"
Beautiful. Let's try love first, right? Everything else is secondary. Let's try love first. Beautiful. And just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of conclude our conversation today, because we discussed many topics centered around the idea of that, the dichotomy, right? As you put it, which should not be polar opposite. It's just two facets of one experience in life, which is health and disease. And it's important that we are, through this topic, we are reminded that our existence is not just, or any, if any, random collection of cells put together, DNA put together, or even experience, that they are deeply, deeply interwoven in this tapestry of spiritual and emotional lessons that span this lifetime, but actually can move on to different lifetimes, different corporeal existence. And if we explore our body, we can see that as this map that we alluded earlier, they hold perhaps echoes or threads or design from past lives. They include perhaps unresolved trauma. They have imprinted some karmic or unresolved issues that are crying for resolution. So let's think about it, everyone. With each ache, with each sensation, each experience, let us think about it. This is not just a physical manifestation of an event, an occurrence, an illness, but really it is a message that somehow is whispered through the language of our body, urging us to heal, to learn, to grow. So I think this is quite beautiful, because we really need to believe, right, and in the miracle that is life. And even when the message may be invisible or less visible, we should look for what are they? What are the messages that are whispered through the language of our bodies? So let's all of us be here today and thank you, Anne. Thank all of you for being here. And remember that I think, Anne, you mentioned that. So correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but healing is not the absence of illness, but the presence of a
Health.
balance, yes, of health, the presence of balance, right, that
Yeah.
integrate all of what we are, including body, mind, the soul, all of the deeper truths of who we are, and quite beautifully who we are becoming, right? So I
Mm.
just want to say
Oh,
thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are here on a weekly basis, and our psychology and spirituality talks are based on the works by Joanna De Angelis. You heard both Ed and I referring to her. So check her out. She's an amazing spiritual author for many, many different books. And hope you're able to perhaps use some of the thoughts brought to us today to help expand your own concept of spirituality, psychology, etc. I want to say thank you, Anne. You're a wonderful partner in this program. I really appreciate you, and I
no, thank
appreciate
you. Thank you for inviting me.
absolutely. And I want to appreciate our sponsors, right? So Mansão do Caminho, the United States Spiritist Federation, the International Spiritist Council, and AMI Brazil, which is this beautiful medical spiritist association, and AMI Brazil is the Brazilian arm of it. With that, I want to say thank you, and I'll see you next time. So long, everyone.
Bye.